Okay guys, we're going to go ahead and talk about this 90-90 step through, incorporating a kettlebell and incorporating some other movements. But I just wanted to make sure that we have a clear understanding of what this looks like. Now, a preface point here, this is not my greatest movement, as you can tell. I'm having to use my hand as a kickstand because my internal rotation on these hips are pretty tight, but we're going to do our best as far as the demo. But you're going to see me kind of leaning fairly aggressively to maintain this position. I just want you to recognize that obviously if we're mobile through the hips, this becomes a little bit easier to then just sit straight up. But this is what we're working with, so there we go. Now, when we set up for this, whatever foot is back, that's the side that needs to be loaded with the kettlebell. And it doesn't need to be super heavy, so I've got a 22 here. So we establish our front rack, same side as the foot that's back, right? Now, from here, I'm gonna drive up into basically what we would consider our pop-up. So all I'm thinking about is squeezing my glutes, and then I'm gonna take this back leg, I'm gonna pivot all the way around so that I'm now aligned in a lunge position, more or less, right? Now, from here, I stand up, nice and strong. Now, the complex is going to incorporate a press, and then 3, 1, stand tall, 2, stand tall, and 3, standing windmills. Then I bring it back to the front rack. Now from here, we are going to back step lunge with the opposite hand, right? Establish that position, and then from there, this leg's going to then pivot back to its original position. So this one's the tricky part. We want to go nice and slow. Knee goes down, we establish that hip extension, and then guide ourselves down to our seated position. So that was 1 rep on the right, okay? Now, I'm gonna try one on the left, just so you guys can kind of get everything the second time. One note, folks might want to use a yoga mat on the knees, perfectly fine. So again, as we set up, the leg that's back is the side that's loaded. We're going to drive up into that hip extension or that pop-up. Back leg steps through, establishing our lunge or half kneeling position. We stand up nice and strong. From there we press. Now that press could be anything, strict press, push press, whatever. We establish our position. We're going to perform 1, 2, and 3 standing windmills. I'll abbreviate. And then from there, we take it down to the front rack. And remember, our back step lunge to start our down phase happens from the opposite side with the kettlebells on, right? Again, this is the tricky part. So we want to move nice and slow. We're going to take that leg, and if you need to kind of step, 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 that's okay too. But more or less, we want to try and wind up where we started and then guide ourselves down, nice and slow. Cool. So that's going to be the complex. That was right and left, and then for the purposes of the workout today, then we would go into our 45-second wall sit. But that's a great one. If anybody's just feeling tight through the hips, obviously minimal equipment, if any. Honestly, you don't really need equipment. You can just do that at body weight. It would be valuable. But we're going to incorporate light kettlebell and just work on being very deliberate about our step-by-step